welcome to another exciting edition of the P&B Sports Show. I'm your host, Abel Sunday. We begin with boxing, where Anthony Joshua delivered a commanding performance, defeating Jake Paul by knocking out in the 6th round. It was a statement victory that has sparked conversation across the global boxing community. A renowned sports journalist, Tom Aroko, will be breaking down the fights, the highlights, the key moments, and what this result means for Joshua's career moving forward. We then shift our attention to football, as the biggest football event in Africa, AFCON 2025, officially kicked off yesterday. Host nation Morocco rose to the occasion, delighting their home fans with a convincing 2-0 victory over Comoros, setting a strong tone for the tournament. Joining me virtually from Lagos to offer expert analysis and perspective are our guest analysts Walter Odige and Wisdom Chimoba. Grab your teacup because P&B Sports start now. P&B Sports, reaching you live from the nation's capital. And of course, Tom Aroko is being a whole hell of the weekend. Let's start with Anthony Joshua. One will say that Anthony Joshua has just gone to, should I say, he has just gone out of the news, but all of a sudden, boom, he came back with that shifting of jaw. Because I think that is the main controversy. Because he shifted that guy's jaw. What a performance from Anthony Joshua. Because no one saw this coming. But from your own perspective, what do you see about the fight, or what can you tell us about it? Tom, are you with me? Tom, you are mute. Please unmute yourself, please. Okay, go ahead. Okay.
So I'm talking about Anthony Joshua, coming back after a long time, after we didn't hear from him for some time. I think it was due to his previous fight loss, in which I think he fought Daniel Dubois in 2024. And after that, it was like he had to rest for about 15 months. And because of that, I think something happened, which was Jake Paul came out all of a sudden and said, "Oh boy, come! I want to fight you." I think, and that was after he fought Mike Tyson, and he also had another fight, and it was victories all over for him. And take note, Jake Paul is just a YouTuber who came into the limelight, who came into fighting, and he decided to stamp his feet in fighting, and he saw using Anthony Joshua as a chance for him to further his career. But take note, Anthony Joshua was a former heavyweight champion, and when he came to the fight in the ring, I think it was something that we could clearly see the difference. But we could also see that Jake Paul, his strategy seems to be avoiding Anthony Joshua based on his size, because coming in, I think Anthony Joshua weighed about 243.4 pounds, and Jake Paul was just 216.4 pounds, and that was something to also take note of. And because of the size, you could see that Anthony Joshua he always kept attacking him, but Jake Paul, noting his size, he kept on moving back in the ring and trying to create space. But anytime he seemed to have been backed down, it seemed like Jake Paul just decided that, okay, let me use the UFC style and go for his legs. But anytime he went for his legs, the ref kept calling. But I think one thing to take note of for me was the fact that the ref didn't call on time, or he didn't separate the fighters on time when he needed to separate the fighters, which was something that a lot of people kept taking note of. But I think what helped Anthony Joshua in that fight was his length and his size as well, because you could see that every time that Jake Paul kept getting close to him, he couldn't take the hit because of his length and his size. But another thing that I feel that a lot of people will have to commend Jake Paul for was the fact that I think the only time that he got a knockdown in that fight was probably in the fourth half of the fight. It was in the first round of the fight, which was in the fifth round of the fight. I think it was the fifth round. He was knocked down twice. So you could see that this was a man that nobody expected to get to the third round, because Anthony Joshua said, if I'm not taking him down in the first or second round, then there's nothing to be proud of. But I think for Anthony Joshua, what this means is, let me start with Jake Paul, because Anthony Joshua won. But for Jake Paul, what this means is he has put some money in. He has gotten some money from the fight. I think Netflix gave them about 150 something pounds, $50-something for this fight to be streamed on Netflix. Gave the fighters alone
million or dollars. Million or okay.
Million dollars, yes, to be streamed, and which he got his share of that. After removing tax and everything, I think Anthony Joshua was about 53 million pounds from it. So you could see that this was, to me, I would say it was a cash cow as well, and a way for them to get some money from it. But talking about Anthony Joshua as well, I think Anthony Joshua, what he used this fight for was that he used this fight to get his name out there again. And I will tell you the truth, there's no big fighter that won't want to fight Anthony Joshua right now. I can tell you that even the heavyweight champion Alexander Usyk want to fight him. And yes, and I think that's strategy for Anthony Joshua. Okay, I'm the former heavyweight champion. Let me get my name out there.
Okay.
Alexander Usyk will want to fight me because of the money. He will want to fight me because of the name, and because I've gotten this belt before. So I think that that's his strategy. But either way, it was a good fight for Jake Paul. It's not easy for a YouTuber to come in to the ring. And some will say Anthony Joshua saved boxing, and I agree with him.
All right, well said, Tom. And I think we're going to go more, because we don't really have. I would have loved to have ask a lot of questions, but I think tomorrow we'll do that, because we don't really have enough time. Thank you so much, Tom, for your highlight and analysis on that fight. But we're going to very short. When we come back, we'll have water and wisdom right here to analyze the AFCON, what happened last night. Don't go, and we'll be right back. It's P&B Sports, reaching you live from the nation's capital. And of course, still with Wisdom, the principal team, and also Walter Odige, both from Lagos. And Walter, yesterday we saw the highest football event in Africa. They start the game yesterday, Morocco Comoros. Wisdom, you could tell that yes, African football have improved in recent times. There's no two ways about it. But let me start with you, Walter, before I come to Wisdom. Walter, quickly, what can you see? The performance from Morocco yesterday, does it show a title ambition, them dispatching Comoros yesterday?
I won't use the term dispatch because I think it was such a tough game. I remember the first 15 minutes of the game. The only thing I asked myself was, wait, if Nigeria played this Morocco, do we stand any chance? Because I could see the way they play as a team, they play as a unit, they press, they are coming at you. Immediately they lose the ball, they are coming again. Like it's a press resistant team, and so they pinned Comoros back to their goal post in the whole of the first 45 minutes. Unfortunately for them, they didn't get the goal. They didn't get the goal in the first half. But they showed that they are not going to be an easy. Can you listen?
Yes, go ahead. We can hear you. Go ahead.
So they show that they are not going to be an easy team to beat. They show that they are going to be um, one of the favorites for this tournament because there's pressure on them. They are hosting this tournament and they hope that they can eventually get to win it. They haven't won the AFCON for over 25 years now. So this is their best chance at winning the AFCON at home soil. And yesterday's game was just a reminder of why they are one of the best sides in Africa. But to be honest with you, it's just Comoros. It's not like it's one of the African top teams. It's just Comoros. So I will say I was really, really surprised by the results. I expected Morocco to win that game. I expected them to even win by a far better margin, score margin, but that didn't happen. But in all honesty, I still think the way they played the game, they really won my heart, and I think they are going to be up there as one of the favorites to win the AFCON. Obviously, their fans want them to win it. Anything short than at least reaching the final will be considered a failure by Morocco. So they know very well not to let their fans down, and they know not to let the whole investment their country has spent into making sure that they do very well in football in the country. They know very well not to make it go to waste. So final is the barest minimum for them. But they will be looking to do more than that. They will be looking to win the tournament. Let's talk about the goals. Brian Biena has scored the first goal. Good one for him. Coming from Real Madrid, he's expected to be the main man for the Morocco national team, and he took that responsibility very well. He scored the first goal, and the second goal what's a lovely overhead kick. Already one of the contenders for the goal of the tournament so far already, just in match they won. But it's just early days, it's just first match, and it's just against Comoros. So let's see what they can do when they beat top teams as the tournament progresses.
Okay, well said, Walter. Let me go back to your wisdom. The principal thing, Walter is making mention. He made mention of that is just Comoros. But you recall that Comoros did not drop. They finished top on their group qualification for this AFCON, and the group that have Tunisia they have Tunisia in their group, and they could able to finish first unbeaten in that group. So I don't think it's just Comoros. Comoros is a small team, but of course a big heart. I think that's what it is. But how do you can you tell us about the defensive organization of the Comoros and how they could handle the pressure from Morocco? And talking about the penalty that the keeper was able to save at the early stage of the game. The principal thing. The principal thing, are you there? The principal thing, are you there? Can you hear him? I think he's having a network issue. Okay, let me go over to you, Walter. Probably we'll try to re-establish connection with the principal team. Let me go back. Walter, you were saying the just Comoros. Comoros finished top of their group, and of course they have group that have Tunisia, like I rightly said, and they finished top. So I don't think it's just a team. I think Comoros also do. But I want you to look at Comoros defensively and their organization, and even them saving a penalty at the early stage of the game. So what do you what is your take on that?
Yes, honestly, before the tournament started, I did my research on all the teams. I was surprised when I saw Comoros made it to the AFCON. I was like, Comoros, what are they doing in the African Cup of Nations? So I had to do my research. I had to check the group that they were. I had to check their matches, and I discovered that they were unbeaten in 6 games for the AFCON qualifiers. Not only were they unbeaten, they were in a group, like you rightly said, that had Tunisia, and they defeated Tunisia in Tunis, and they held Tunisia in a draw in Comoros. So they are not just a walkover. I'm sorry for using that word. It's just Comoros, but in football, in as much as you can upset any team, anytime, any day, they are always favorites going to a game, and they are always the lesser teams And to be honest with you, in this case, Comoros was just the lesser team. Maybe that's what I meant when I said it's just Comoros. So, but to be honest with you, they are a very, very, very good side. Tactically compact, they are defensively. They are not a team that will score you 4 goals or 5 goals or 3 goals. They are a team that will try and stay at the back, defend, shut down defensively. Then once they hit you on the counter, they are going to punish you for that. And that's the thing that Comoros are. And unfortunately, it didn't work out for them yesterday. As Morocco were just too good on the day, but to be honest, I think it was a good defensive display, certainly in the first half. And you said the goalkeeper saved penalty. It was a good penalty, good morale booster. For the goalkeeper, is going to boost his confidence, not just for that game against Cameroon, against Morocco, but subsequent games. So I'll expect Morocco. It's 3 teams that is going to get out of each group. 2 teams plus the best losers. So I'll expect Comoros, what I saw yesterday, to be one of the best losers. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be difficult, and for their credit, I just wish they do, because the stories we love to see smaller nations, nation of less than 1 million people. Lagos, we have up to over 5 million people in Lagos, but Comoros as a country, they have 950,000 people. So it's just for it's good to hear such stories, and let's see what they can achieve as the tournament goes by.
Okay, well said. I don't know if we have the principal team. Are you back with us now? The principal.
Yes, I'm available.
Okay. Can you hear me? You had the question I asked earlier, right?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so I don't know if you can respond to that question now.
Okay, yes. So I said one thing is, there's a popular saying now that they are not right, and it applies to what we saw in that game involving Morocco and Comoros yesterday. You also, pointed out that Comoros topped their group in the qualifiers. And so, yeah, for them to come up against Morocco, I mean, we were not expecting them to just, go there and put up a lackluster performance. They went there and they really showed, that they meant business. You understand? And I have to say, first of all, kudos has to go to, Comoros. First of all, of course, they were the underdogs heading into the game, but then they really, really held their own in terms of their defensive structure. The first half ended goalless. I'm sure a lot of people were not expecting that. Walter said something about, him expecting Morocco to blow them off. And everybody expected that, because I mean, Morocco is probably like the most informed African nation right now, even on the global stage. So you would expect, Morocco coming up against the Comoros, I mean, it should be easy. But then that wasn't the case. In fact, it had to take 2 amazing goals, 2 spectacular goals, to break down that Comoros defense. If not because of that bit of creativity, I mean, that match would have probably ended goalless, or maybe, who knows, if Comoros, would have done something. And that is a sign of what we should expect in this AFCON, that there is no big team, there is no small team. Yes, of course, on paper, there are teams that you would always expect to win. But then, on the field, 90 minutes of football, everybody is on the same level.
Well said, the principal thing. And let's move over to Nigeria, because that is what concerns us. It's Nigeria. Whether if in Morocco, let them score 50-0, that's their business. But what really concerns us is the Super Eagles. If Comoros can come and put a very good performance like this, what are we expecting from Tanzania? Considering the fact that, if you recall, Tanzania is hosting I think they're among the co-hosts for the next Nations Cup. Tanzania, even Uganda. And coincidentally, those 2 teams are in our group. That shows you that I don't think they're a pushover, and they're using this just to see how they could maybe prepare their team for the next AFCON. Do you think that Tanzania team will be a very I'm saying with you now, the principal team. Do you think Tanzania team very big not to crack for the Super Eagles performance, considering the way the abysmal performances of the Super Eagles in recent time? And sometimes when you expect them to really do well, even against small teams, they struggle. But against bigger teams, somehow they try to prove themselves. But against small team like Tanzania, what do you expect? Because if this Comoros team could meet the Super Eagles, honestly, I don't think we are going to see anything. To be honest, even the draw, I think we are going to be begging for draw.
Well, I think I'm not surprised that a lot of Nigerians are feeling this way when it comes to the Super Eagles. So before I talk of the Super Eagles, let me just dwell on the Taifa Stars of Tanzania for a little bit. First of all, I mean, everyone is looking at them as an underdog. I mean, this is their fifth appearance. But this is like this is like the third time they are making an appearance in AFCON in over 6 editions. You understand? So heading into this AFCON, I mean, they are obviously underdogs, but then it shows that they've done a lot of development away from the field. That right now it looks as if, okay, these are people that you can just look at, more like a dark horse or something. But then, first of all, let's look at their creativity. First of all, I mean, their creative side. Tanzania, their part to this, during the qualifiers. In fact, it was more like a dramatic one for them. Their part was very gritty. In fact, they needed goal difference, to edge Guinea, and in the last AFCON. That was, in fact, the last one they qualified was, I think, 2019 or something. But the thing is, about this Tanzania side, I mean, we know that, they are a very good team when it comes to playing gritty football, very physical, very intense with the way they play. And for the Super Eagles, if we are to break them down, we need to bring our own level of intensity. I mean, you said something about Comoros. If it was Comoros that Nigeria was to play, with the kind of performance Comoros did put up, the way the Super Eagles have been playing of late, everyone would doubt that the Super Eagles would get something out of that game. But I think the same thing applies to everyone. Now, like I said earlier, that in this tournament, yes, there are big teams on paper, but then do not write off anybody. In as much as we will be confident that the Super Eagles, is the better team, you would expect them to go there and get results. But don't be surprised that Tanzania would also have something up their sleeves. Now, for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, for us to get something out of that game, in fact, there have been a lot of reports coming out about the fitness of some of the players and all of that. In fact, I think just saw a report this morning saying something about Alex Iwobi maybe not fit enough to start the game or stuff like that. But all of those things are not really my concern until tomorrow, before we know the final update. But then everything still boils down to what we have in mind. Everything still boils down to what Super Eagles wants to do, because part of the issues is that our centre back pairing. Now, in terms of going forward, I mean, we know we have the creativity there. We have the creativity, but conversion of chances, even the creation of those chances there, is a problem. But then the back line, some people are a bit worried that, okay, maybe the partnership of Calvin Bassey and Shemi Ajayi might not really be the best. But when we spoke about this on Friday, I said, me personally, I'm confident in them, but the problem has to be our attack. And that is still the same conversation. If Victor Osimhen is marked out of that game against Tanzania, just know that Nigeria would not do anything. So for that to change, Eric Chell needs to come up with a plan A, B, C, E, and E in that game against Tanzania. But then we really need to get the job done against Tanzania. There's nothing worse than starting off a tournament on a very bad note.
Okay, what said the principal to all we've run out of time, we don't have time, but quickly, in 1 minute, it's just a yes or no answer. If it's not even up to a minute. Walter, the CAF president said during the weekend that the AFCON will be played every 4 years now, 4 years in from 2018 and 2028. I beg your pardon. Do you think that's a good development for AFCON? It's just a yes or no answer. That's all.
I would have loved to talk about this, but okay, yes or
no. I will bring it. I'll bring it up tomorrow. But I just want you to just.
For me, it's a yes. It's a yes. A good development for AFCON.
Oh, okay. The principal thing is do you think it's a good development for our football? Because he's talking about taking it to 4 years instead of 2 years interval.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, fine. I'm sure I'm going to get you guys back tomorrow. Then we'll have a talk. We'll talk more on this, and also the Nations League that he's talked about, African Nations League that he also spoke about during the weekend. During the weekend. So that will okay, that's how we're going to wrap up the show today. That brings us to the end of today's edition of P&B Sports Show. My sincere appreciation to our guest analyst Walter Odige and Wisdom Chimoba, who joined us virtually from Lagos, and to Tom Aroko for his in-depth breakdown of Anthony Joshua's impressive victory. Thank you all for your expert insight and valuable contribution. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me this morning. All right, you can connect with us on all social media platforms, on YouTube and Facebook at Politics and Business TV.English, and on IG at P&B TV_English, on X at P&B TV_ENG. That's the size of our show this morning. I'm Abel Sunday, and for me and the entire team right in Abuja, say goodbye.